All tuned up. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
We will start with the Town of Brookhaven's Local Development Corporation Finance Committee. The following members are here: Mr. Callahan, Mr. Pally, Mr. Polakowski, Mr. Scheit, Mr. Trotta, Mr. Braun. The quorum is present. It is now 8:08. The minutes of our meeting of October 26, 2022 have been sent to everyone. I need a motion to accept those.
Motion.
There's a second.
Second.
Any questions for those minutes? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. I will turn it over to Lori for her report.
Okay. Included in the package is the Local Development Corporation, a draft of the 2024 budget, which is due to be filed within the Paris External Reporting System by October 31st, 2023. Just to mention some highlights, our revenue for normal administrative fees has gone down. That's because we have some of the projects terminated during the year. Our interest income projections have gone up due to the rates are quadrupled in the bank, if not more. The other expenditures across the board, we took a hard zero-based look at and came up with better numbers. And we also are continuing to look at our cost sharing service agreement and keeping the allocation as fair as possible. So net, we present a deficit of $61,900. Are there any questions?
Lori, I know we had talked, I think, a couple of months ago about the insurance issue and a reevaluation of various components of our insurance. Could you just bring us up to date on where we
Sure.
are with that?
Sure. So most of our policies for the LDC have recently renewed. We met with the broker, we went through the coverage and our different various coverages to make sure we're in line with everything that's needed. We also have shared our policies in the past with our risk management broker, just for a second set of eyes in case there's something that, we need. But according to both of them, coverage is more than adequate for what we did.
Thank you.
Any other questions about the board, the budget? Sorry, not the board. From the board. From the board. And what we would do is, if you're in favor of this budget, we would pass a resolution for adoption and then present it to the full board.
You want to do that today, or you're going to further tweak it and bring it back?
If there's comments that need to be tweaked, we can do it. If not, we'll be ready to go. So if you guys want more time to look at it, we can wait and bring it back next month. We could go either way. And we could do one thing with the LDC and a different thing with the IDA.
Yeah, I think the only comment I had was whether, and we talked about this a little bit, whether or not we should tweak memberships and other like functions, and whether those should be shifted to the IDA. We also had some brief preliminary conversations as to what happens if the LDC runs out of money and we still have open projects. And we'll talk more about that at a future meeting, but subject to any adjustments within that membership and whatever the category is, we should be good to go, I think. I'll entertain a motion that we recommend this budget to the full board. So move. Second?
Second.
Questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Now I need unless there's anything else, I need a motion to adjourn the meeting of the Finance Committee.
Motion. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. We'll now open the Audit Committee meeting of the Town of Brookhaven Local Development Corporation. It is 8:12. This is Wednesday, September 20th. The following members are present: Mr. Callahan, Mr. Pally, Mr. Polakowski, Ms. Scheit, Mr. Trotta, and Mr. Braun. We have a quorum. Minutes of our meeting of March 29th, 2023 have been sent to everybody. Motion to accept those, please.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Are there questions? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Laura?
Okay, this year we went out to bid for our audit services. So we contacted 3 local firms that specialize in the area of government audits. and including the firm that we're currently with, PKF O'Connor Davies. One of the three firms did not respond. We never heard from them. We sent follow-ups, we never heard from them.
Who is that?
Colin and Dineski.
Okay.
Yeah, they do Riverhead, so not Riverhead IDA, but the town of Riverhead, so I was surprised, but regardless, we did hear from Sheehan, who do Suffolk County IDA, and we got PKF's fees and Sheen's fees, and Sheen was actually, for the LDC, remember, it's a very small entity, were 210% higher in fees. So, they were looking at approximately 15,000 for the audit, whereas PKF was at 5. We've never had a problem with PKF. My suggestion is to continue the LDC audit with PKF, O'Connor Davis.
Need a resolution?
Do we need that, a resolution?
I think we do.
Okay,
So move.
Second. Those who remember, PKF is the successor to AVZ, which was Ulbrich, Vigiano and
Vigiano.
Zurich. Gotta remember that. Who have been our auditors 8 or 9 years, maybe?
yeah,
Somewhere in there.
since I came along.
Is there any other business to be brought before the audit committee?
Hey, Lori, excuse me, who are you talking to, Colin Dineski? Just out of curiosity.
I sent it to Peter Rodriguez, that's who I knew did government
Because they
audit.
they do ours and I
Yeah.
don't.
They do your taxes or
Yeah.
audits, taxes, yeah.
Just the taxes, but
Yeah.
still, they're pretty,
Yeah.
And Jim,
Yeah.
and Jim Minowski's locker is 2 down from mine
Yeah,
at St. George's.
yeah, well, I saw him there last time too, I'm surprised.
And
that
they also did our audits going back to the 80s and 90s,
Yeah,
back in the day.
Just surprised, that's all.
and they do living,
Oh,
they do a very good job.
Yeah.
Guess they got enough business.
They get together.
I
It could be
almost-
that they don't have the staff, we don't,
yeah,
never know.
and they might
Yep.
be full with the government.
Yeah, no,
It's
perfect.
a
Yeah,
lot
Just
of,
respond though.
And their own
Yeah.
risk.
We're not
maybe
interested,
so many
that's the
clients in
only
that
thing.
field.
yeah,
Yep.
absolutely.
Could be.
I was surprised I didn't hear.
One of
from
their
Peter, 'cause
partners
I
just
know.
moved to Richmond. I know that.
Oh,
So.
Okay, all right.
Unless there's any other business to be brought before the LDC audit committee, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn that meeting.
Motion.
Second,
Second,
all those in favor? Aye. Opposed, motion carries. We'll now open the meeting of the finance committee of Town of Brookhaven's Industrial Development Agency. It is 8:15 a.m., Wednesday, September 20th. The following members are present: Callahan, Mr. Pally, Mr. Polakowski, Ms. Scheit, Mr. Trotter, Mr. Braun. Quorum is present. The meeting, minutes of our meeting of October 26th of 2022 have been sent to everybody. Motion to accept those. please.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
questions? Hearing none. All those in favor? Opposed, motion carries. Lori?
okay, included in your package is the draft budget for the Industrial Development Agency for 2024. It's due to Paris by the end of October. I just want to go through a couple of numbers. Our projection for revenue is based on some known and unknown projects, which we typically have always done that because we want to just make sure we have everything out there. The other item I want to point out is our interest income has gone up significantly from what we've adopted in our budget in the past due to the better rates that we're getting. I want to point out that we've increased, almost doubled our office and equipment rental, and that's because all the computers and the service contracts and the phones and the service contracts are moved, no longer being handled by the town. We have to handle them, so those costs have gone up in budget. And also in our depreciation, because we had to get all new computers, that's gone up. So overall, the budget's presented here for your review. Is there any questions?
And once again, the expense side is, I don't want to say easy, but it's easier to determine than the revenue side. We came into the year, I think it was something like 26 projects where we accepted applications. To date, only 5 have closed. How many will close between now and the end of the year? I would guess maybe as many as a half a dozen, whether the balance.
Half a dozen more?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I think the 3 housing projects in East Patchogue have yet to close, and there are a couple others. Whether the others fall by the wayside, or they get pushed over into 2024, it is really hard to know.
What's our anticipated revenues for this year? That's gonna depend on the closings. Where are we at the moment?
Where are we at the moment? We're at 2,000,002 because Sunrise went.
Right, okay.
So, I mean, our projections for the rest of the year, we're going with 2,000,008.
Okay.
But, you know, it's an anomaly
right,
that,
right, I get it,
that one
I get
piece
it.
of revenue is one project.
Right, I get
I'll
it.
go through that. Yeah,
So we just need one of those every year.
yeah, that's it, absolutely.
That's,
Right.
that's the point of the
All we need.
conversation,
Yeah.
right?
Does that number include yesterday's closing?
No, it does not.
Hello.
Good morning.
Okay.
All right, well.
Are there any-
there'll be some place not to disturb you. Hello, Fred.
Long time.
I know.
Nice to see you.
Nice to see you. Okay, should I just wait outside?
You can wait here or
Yeah.
outside, wherever you're the most comfortable.
All right.
Go see in the back if you need it.
Okay, thank you. Hello, Lisa. Not you. Hi.
Anything else for the finance committee?
Any questions on the budget?
No.
If we approve this budget, we would present it to the full board. And we would present it then for filing into Paris.
Like a motion to that effect?
So moved.
Second? Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And if there no further business, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting of the finance committee.
So moved.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. We'll now move to the Town of Brookhaven Industrial Development Agency Audit Committee meeting. It is Wednesday, September 20th. It is 8:20. Following board members are present: Mr. Callahan, Mr. Pally, Mr. Polakowski, Ms. Scheit, Trotta, Mr. Braun. A quorum is present. Minutes of our meeting of March 29th, 2023 have been sent. Motion to accept those, please.
So move.
Second.
Second.
Question? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Lori?
Okay, this year we went out to bid for our external audit services. We sent a request for proposals to 3 firms. One firm did not respond. The 2 firms that responded were PKF O'Connor Davies, which is our current auditor, and Sheen. The difference is about, from firm to firm, is about 4,500, 19%, but Sheen also charges a one-time audit fee for a new client of 3,500, so
They don't discount it. They
I've
charge
never
extra.
seen that. I'm used to that always being built into, you know, the cost of business your first year, but anyway, regardless, I think it does make sense looking at projections to keep with PKF O'Connor Davies. We have a good relationship with them. We definitely have had some growing pains as far as doing the audits more remotely and sending them documents, so they're not sitting here taking up desk space, kind of being in our face all the time. So we're gonna continue to encourage that remote access. You know, of course, they're allowed to come here, but it's just, we don't need them here for 2 weeks. Face to face and asking questions every day. But we would like to, my suggestion would be to stay with PKF O'Connor Davies unless you have any questions. Do we need a motion?
Yes, we should. have.
Okay,
Motion.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's been accepted. Anything else?
no?
Motion to adjourn the audit committee meeting of the IDA.
So move.
Second.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. I'm gonna go out of order a little bit. Yeah. We adjourned at 22 minutes after 8.
You guys went too quick.
Sorry.
It's okay.
I could speak
Take a break.
slower.
No, it's okay.
We will now open the meeting of the Town of Brookhaven Local Development Corporation. It is Wednesday, September 20th. It is 8:22. The following board members are present: Mr. Callahan, Mr. Pally, Mr. Polakowski, Ms. Scheit, Mr. Trotta, Mr. Braun. A quorum is present. Minutes of our meeting of August 16th, 2023 have been sent to everybody. Motion to accept those, please.
So move.
Second. Is there a second? All those any questions, excuse me? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Lisa's got something on the resolution. Laura,
Yes,
You want to talk
yes.
about the budget?
Yeah,
Just
well, the
on the
banking
recommendation.
resolution, on the resolution, we had provided you, an updated resolution last month. And when we looked at the vote, it wasn't specifically identified. So the first resolution is a banking resolution between the local development corporation regarding the bank and investment accounts of the town of Brookhaven, local development corporation. This more or less kind of is similar to the IDA resolution, where it talks about the letters of credit and the allowable collateral. So we just wanted to have that policy and that resolution approved at this meeting formally as a separate item.
And they've been reviewed by council.
Yes, it has been
Okay.
reviewed by council. I even showed it to the bank to make sure this is in line. So,
Motion to that effect, please.
So move. Second.
Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
the next item on the agenda is the budget versus actual for the 8 months ended August 31st, 2023 for the local development corporation. Our revenue for income other is up $4,000, and that's because we did have 2 terminations, so there's a termination fee associated with that. Other than that, our expenses are pretty much in line with budget, if not a little bit under. So year to date, as of the end of August 31st, we're at about $30,000 loss at the local development corporation.
Not unexpected.
Not unexpected. We actually forecasted 66, so we're a little under because of that closing and also our interest rates, we projected 2,000 or up to 12,000, so helped a little. Any questions on the budget versus actual for the 8 months? That we don't need to put off, okay? The next item is the finance committee met earlier today, and we presented the finance committee the budget, draft budget for 2024, which is due to be filed into Paris by October 31st. And the finance committee accepted the budget, and I am presenting it for the board's full approval. So we would take a vote. Any
Yeah.
questions on it, first of all?
We do. We
Yeah,
have
you
to
have to-
accept the recommendations of the finance committee. Is there a motion?
And-
So moved.
And tell Lori to put it in Paris.
Yes.
Yes, authorize the filing.
Thank you, that was much more.
Put it in.
Put it in.
Stick it in
Put that
there.
thing Paris.
Through the computer, right? There you go. Okay.
I think I heard a motion and a second.
Mhm.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Last item is that I'd like to review this all meetings, that all payroll taxes and related withholdings have been paid timely in accordance with federal and state guidelines. All regulatory reports have been filed in a timely fashion. And that is my report.
Any other business? If not, a motion to adjourn the meeting.
So moved.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? It is now 8:26. That may be a record. Thank
That's what I
you.
was
Wow.
thinking. I mean, we cut it very close on the minutes.
We'll now open the meeting of the Town of Brookhaven Industrial Development Agency. Again, it is Wednesday, September 20th. It is 8:27. Following members are present: Mr. Callahan, Mr. Pally, Mr. Polakowski, Ms. Scheit, Mr. Trotter, Mr. Braun. A quorum is present. Very quickly, the minutes of our meeting of 2 meetings, August 16th and September 7th, have been sent. A motion to accept both of those.
So move.
Second.
Are there any questions? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. You want to drop over to the application?
Sure, let's take a couple of things out of order since we have guests here. In your package, there was an application for the Blue Point Brewery project. It's American Beverage Craft, which is a subsidiary of Tilray. Ames, I don't think you need to bring everybody in. Let's see
Okay,
what needs to happen. This, just to remind everybody, is the brewery at 225 West Main Street in Patchogue. American Beverage Craft is purchasing the Blue Point Brewery project as part of a package of craft breweries from an affiliate of Anheuser-Busch. And the request is for the assignment and assumption of the pilot, which there's 5 years left in it. They're about at the halfway point. The agreement is that they will retain all employees and agree to the already agreed upon job numbers. It's a total transaction, which includes a total of 8 craft breweries, is an $85 million project. And I'm gonna turn it over. You guys have anything you want to add? And do you guys have
Lisa,
any
you
questions?
took my whole presentation.
I'm sorry.
Where's your bow tie?
Well, I was told Lisa doesn't like bow ties, so I didn't wear one.
We go way back.
Okay.
I'm really not that partial.
Yes, thank you very much. This is just a change of the common stock ownership of the brewery.
For the record, you would identify your name?
Oh, I beg your pardon. Yes, I'm sorry. I'm William Carnaccio from Rifkin Radler, representing the applicant and actually Anheuser-Busch as well. With me is Jack Kilgallen. He's the general manager of the brewery. And have the folks been admitted by Zoom?
So we started bringing people in, and you tell us
Yes.
you need everybody in. Do you want, is
Well,
anybody else?
yeah, I think so. We
represented?
have,
All here.
We have
I have Ben.
representatives of Tilray and as Anheuser-Busch
So-
on Zoom. And I think general counsel for Tilray was gonna dial in, not video. So
Is Mr. Scott Muir with you guys?
Scott Fuhrer? Scott
Yeah.
Fuhrer with us, Rachel?
Because we can bring him in if it's appropriate. If not, he can remain in the waiting room. Everybody in the waiting room can hear and see. They just can't speak.
Oh, very good. Okay,
So
all right. Scott Fuhrer. Yeah, I'm sorry. That's my law partner. Let him in.
sorry.
All right. So yes, just to continue very briefly, it's just a change in common stock ownership. Nothing is going to change as far as the operations of the brewery, the economic activity it generates, as far as the employees are concerned, as far as the beer drinking public is concerned. The operations of Blue Point Brewery will remain just as at present. Tilray has committed to maintaining the existing job count, which in fact is in excess of what the original commitment was. So we would hope you would, consider this somewhat routine. It is part of a much larger transaction, as Lisa mentioned, for Anheuser-Busch, where it's selling a number of its craft breweries to the Tilray affiliate. And again, if there are any questions, I'm happy to respond. Barry Carrigan and I had a number of conversations up until preceding the meeting, so I hope we've answered any questions that the board members have. Yes, please.
Did I hear correctly that this transaction will not result in any diminution of the superb quality of the product?
Jack?
Can confirm.
I just want to know whether the toasted lager went back to the original formula.
I don't know if this is worthy of the record, but I'd say there's more on the table now than it was pre-transaction.
Fred, is that on page 42 of the application?
The priorities.
Yeah, exactly.
My only question, Tilray is involved in cannabis, correct?
That is correct.
And the town's got some, and then I will turn it to you, some restrictions as far as cannabis sales in the town of Brookhaven.
Yes, they have to be in L1. They have,
Well, may I interrupt by saying that
absolutely.
Tilray has absolutely no intention of bringing any cannabis operations into the United States generally, or in particular, the state of New York. In fact, I spoke with General Counsel for Tilray Brands this morning on my way in, and he confirmed that unless and until it's the use and sale of cannabis on a federal level, which it is not now, is permitted, they have no intention of entering the U.S. market.
Assuming that happens, Lynette?
Yes.
What are the town's restrictions?
It has to be in,
Patchogue is even-
yeah, Patchogue, I think, opted out,
They
right?
did.
So you can't have it in the village at all.
Yeah.
Yes, we're well aware that under New York law, localities can opt
Yeah,
out.
so far.
I think,
We have
my
to see the
town of
regulation,
Hempstead has opted out, so it's not uncommon.
right?
What is the total number of jobs that was required? I'm just looking for it here. And the total number of jobs that you actually have at the facility.
Yeah.
I believe the initial application said
Yeah, that's what I'm
something like 37 FTEs, Lisa.
sounds right to
Does that sound right? And right now, we're significantly in excess of that. I think in the application indicate, frankly, not quite correctly, that there are 51, there are actually more. Just confirm what's in this application.
Great facility.
Yes,
We went there right after we closed on the project.
yeah, in
Yeah,
this
that was-
application, we stated there.
Well, we went there after we took a bus tour.
Yes,
Years
correct.
ago, when it was all up.
That's right, yes.
We wound up.
But if you look on the last page of the application, you'll see information concerning that.
I cleaned up my desk yesterday. I can't find it now. No, because I brought it with me, because I thought you might have a question.
I'm quite sure it's 37.
37 sounds right to me.
And as I mentioned while you stepped away, Lisa, that
Oh, wait, no. 66, and there was 103
Okay.
actually there.
that is
Okay.
correct.
So they exceeded.
That's
It was
excellent.
37 originally, that's how
Correct.
many, yeah, so
Hey, that-
the agreement was to have
Money.
66
How are you?
employees, and they're at 103,
How was
so.
your trip?
I'd say they
Made
did your
Back
job.
up.
You look very refreshed.
Other
All right.
questions from the board?
That's
So
it
we
for
need a
me.
motion to
So
accept the
moved.
application.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Okay, onward.
Thank you very much. Fred, it's always a pleasure.
Nice to see you.
Take a look. Yeah, all right.
Thank you, folks.
Keep that original.
Presentation.
Thank you for bringing that up, Fred. I wondered why it tasted different.
They went to a much lighter version. Everybody said, what the hell is that?
Oh, I should Karen said something, I'm so sorry.
And I don't know why, whether we.
The, toasted lager.
Bruise.
I wouldn't know one from
Yeah.
there.
We're good?
Yeah.
You accepted the application, we have to do
Wasn't it on my
the individual vote.
No, we did not, but let's do the resolution right on its heels.
They needed, that was accepting the application.
Yeah, so
they
you
needed
did,
a
you accepted
resolution.
the application, but we also have a resolution, to,
Approving the assignment.
yeah,
Mhm.
thank you, to actually make it work.
So moved.
Second,
Very eloquent.
Second.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, the resolution passes.
Thank you.
All right, let's go back in order, Lori.
Okay, included in your packages for the IDA is budget versus our results as of 8/31/2023. I just want to point out for the IDA, we've had to date 4 closings, and that was actually a closing in September, so we're up to 5 closings. Our, in general, our interest income is above budget. We budgeted for 85, we're up to 266, that's due to the rates that we're getting in bank. For the most part, all of our expenditures are below budget, except for our office supplies and our projection for depreciation. And the reason why office supplies and expenses are up, the cost that was moved from the town to us to maintain our own computers, our own support agreements, our phones, and our own phone agreements, and our copy machines. So we picked up 3 new service contracts, so it's kind of driven up the office expense line.
Mhm.
Are there any questions regarding the budget versus actual for the 8 months ended 8/31? Okay,
Now we need a resolution to accept the recommendation of the finance committee of the 2024 budget.
Second.
Questions?
I don't know if you heard.
I did.
Oh, yeah.
As long as Josh heard it, that's all.
Oh.
He's good.
And for Lori to file it in Paris. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
lastly, I just want to read our required language. All taxes and related withholdings have been paid timely in accordance with federal and state guidelines. All regulatory reports have been filed in a timely fashion.
And couldn't we note, even if we don't have to put it in the minutes, that the significantly increased interest revenue is due entirely to the aggressive action of our CFO in going after finding the banks with the best rates?
And
Yeah, Lori's been on it. She reaches out very regularly to see if the rates have increased and to make sure that we're getting all we can get. So thank you. Good point, Anne Marie.
We should probably have a resolution to accept Lori's report overall.
Motion.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Okay.
Okay, so the next item on the agenda
Courteous but aggressive.
is the job creation numbers. Fred and I reviewed all the responses that we received. They were all reasonable explanations. There was just two that I want to bring to your attention. One of them need a little more information, so I've reached out to them to get follow-up information. And the other one has, it's a multi-tenant. They have an underperforming subtenant, and they think that their subtenant is going to leave sooner than originally anticipated, at which point they will be marketing for a new subtenant that'll hopefully have some employees. And they think that will be, they're close, they're not that far off. They think that'll be the thing that jumps them over the edge. But for that particular project, Fred and I thought we would keep an eye on it for next year also. Obviously, we look at all the projects each year and we look back to last year to see what happened. So we will do that for all of them, but we're gonna just flag those two that we need to, one we need to keep an eye on and one we need more information. But the remainder, there's about 10 other ones, I'd say. Their explanations were reasonable and appropriate, and Fred and I are comfortable with why they were unable. And some of them, although December 31st didn't have the jobs, have subsequently hired people and now are over the numbers. So we're comfortable with the responses that we received.
Lisa, just for the record, you want to mention the two?
Sure, we need to get more information from Crestwood. I left a voicemail the other day, haven't heard back from him, but I'm gonna reach out again to, that's one where the letter didn't really tell us as much as it could have. And I know he has more to tell because in having conversations with him, he's articulated more. He just didn't put it on paper.
Which project was that one?
I'm sorry?
Which project was Crestwood?
Crestwood is the, they deliver milk and other products.
Okay.
They were impacted dramatically by COVID. They had a lot of businesses, and when people didn't have people in their offices, they didn't really need milk delivery.
Okay.
And I think also the movement to having a lot of things delivered. I think there's more opportunities now to have other companies deliver milk plus a lot of other stuff. So having a particular niche, I think is, I think they're struggling a little bit, but he had, when I spoke to him, he had a lot to say, just didn't put that much in writing. So I'm gonna ask him to build up.
Are they changing their business model?
He's got a couple of things that he's thinking
Okay.
through. I don't think he's really
Right.
there yet, or at least he didn't articulate that to me.
Register, yeah.
Yeah. And the other one that has the underperforming subtenant is Holtzville Industrial, and we're gonna keep an eye on them, and obviously they'll come back to us when the first tenant, you know, the tenant that doesn't really, is underperforming moves out, if they do, and then when they have a new tenant to move in.
How many tenants do they have?
I think they have 3 right now.
Three?
Yeah.
So one of them is underperforming from their perspective.
Yes, you know, basically they said the company that's underperforming, they had a contract to make, you know, COVID played a role in a lot of the answers that we got. They had a contract to do, I think, COVID at-home tests, and then it just went sideways and they didn't actually end up with the work that they thought they were gonna have. And so they had employees and they had to let employees go because they didn't really have the work that they thought they were gonna have. And so they think that they're gonna move out soon, and then hopefully they'll have somebody who's
How much space is that tenant taking?
I don't
Subtenant take?
I don't recall, but let me look. I have the letter right here, I think.
You have a candidate, Mitch?
No. Interested in how big they are in that context.
Okay, so they have 3 tenants. One of them is in about 18,000 square feet and has 12 employees. They have another that has 28,000 square feet. And they have 10 employees, and the third is the one that's sort of problematic, has 3,000 square feet and no employees. One, just the principal. So they're hoping that, when this tenant moves out, and probably sooner than later, if they're not really utilizing the space, that they'll be able to market it to someone who has a few more employees.
Thank you.
So those are the two that we're watching. The rest of them, the answers were reasonable, and I have all of it if anybody wants to see any of it. Okay, I just have a couple of other things I wanted to mention. Please don't forget, September 27th, we're having an event at Top Golf. If you have anybody that you would like to invite, just let us know. We need to get a head count in, I think, Amy, today.
End of business, yes.
Oh,
Okay,
okay.
so if you have anybody else, we'll include them in the head count happily. If you need a flyer, you want to share it, just let us know. And if you have a last minute addition,
It's
add them in,
10 to 12.
10 to 12.
Yeah, I may be
Oh, it's on there.
I may be a
No, it's
little
in there.
late,
That's
but
okay.
I will be there.
Okay, that's fine, that's fine. The supervisor is gonna do a welcome, Fred's gonna say a few words, but after that, it's networking and conversation, and if you're so inclined, hitting a golf ball.
Okay.
Marty's gonna teach me how to play golf.
Sure.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So you know how to speak to Ron. We gotta know. today.
That's right.
I'll teach him too.
Okay, I'll make sure he's
What,
aware of that.
what kind of response have you got?
I think we probably have about 35,
We're almost at 40.
almost at 40.
Okay.
Good.
That's excellent.
Not a lot of speeches. This is,
No,
hello,
no.
thank you for your business.
Yes,
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
enjoyed it.
Right,
yeah.
Anne Marie, did you
and you need to do
invite,
that once in a while.
the
Yes.
companies in the incubator?
I will re-invite them,
Yeah, I think
having
that-
not heard from them. Yeah.
Okay, I think that's they're in the town, they may wanna stay in the
Play
town,
golf,
you know,
yeah.
it's an opportunity
golf,
for
but
them, at least to learn about
Yeah.
what we do. So,
And it's a good
Excellent.
opportunity for them to learn a
Okay.
skill that they will need as
That's
their
correct,
companies
yeah.
develop.
Both golf and networking.
Yes. Yes.
2 for 1.
Think I have
It's like you're on vacation still.
We did
No,
invite
I
David
wish.
Hamilton, he's unable
Well,
to
I
attend.
came up with
I
tons
didn't want
and
to.
tons of stuff.
Oh, that's a good person.
Oh, yeah.
So I talked to him the other day about his Discovery Park, which I'll talk to you about.
Okay, we'll invite him, that's a good idea.
I showed you a message last night when I was getting.
that-
just mine.
I have
Yeah,
a
I sent it
request
to me.
that we
I
move the
was-
meetings from 8 o'clock to 8:30. With school back in, we end up sitting in a line of students fighting to get into the building, to get everything set up in time. So if we move it to 8:30, I think that'll help us, the staff, as far as timing is concerned. Is that,
That's fine.
And we won't run into as
That's
many
fine.
school buses.
and you won't run into as many school buses too.
I used
Okay.
to do with the head.
Is that okay with everyone?
Yep.
We
You
need
see
a
your little
resolution
emoji
to
with the head blown up, I just like that.
Our meeting dates are, resolved.
Okay.
So you said. we
Well, the next
said it-
meeting is October
They're
23rd.
changing, they have
At
problems with
8:30.
the school.
At 8:30, we're gonna make it?
Yeah,
Okay. Okay.
is everybody,
Well, if
okay.
you can't get in here
Sorry,
with the buses, a lot of buses,
Mm-hmm.
And at what time would you prefer?
No,
Noon? Do I hear noon?
No.
yeah, when are we going back to noon?
In the winter.
November.
In the winter.
In the
I think it's
winter.
November.
Then we could see this.
And what
Yes.
date is November?
I think it'd be good for him to get out.
November does anybody know November? Hold on,
I can tell you.
The
I
15th?
have them all on the calendar.
I have them on my calendar too.
Calendar too.
15th.
It is
15th,
the 15th.
so that's at noon.
That's at noon?
I think,
The 15th is the date I have in my calendar.
Yeah.
Mine
And the
too.
time is 8 that I
it
have.
as 8.
I have it as 8.
It is now 8:30.
oh, we're gonna do
No,
November for 8?
Or we're gonna do 12.
Do noon
So we,
for November.
What date?
If they think snow, we'll do it at noon.
yes, I think there's gonna be snow then.
When are we meeting?
Yeah.
October
I think it'll
again?
be good. to
Third?
get him out.
23rd.
Okay,
He was supposed to be on.
Because we moved it.
23rd, so that's gonna be 8:30.
Okay.
Are you gonna
But I
send new
think he
things
will
out or we
come
just
at
adjust?
12.
Okay.
That would be
I believe
great.
Terry resent
I think
October
it'd be good.
20th.
So
No, I mean the new
just
time.
let me So just
Okay. then I will
November
check, yeah.
15th, we're doing what?
Do I hear noon, November 15th?
Yes.
Okay, so just to
I
recap,
won't be
Look
here,
at that.
so
Where you going?
I'm gonna be on a cruise.
okay.
A cruise, where you
That's
going?
no excuse.
I maybe.
October
Oh,
23rd
maybe.
That's what
at
Zoom is for.
8:30
No,
a.m.,
none of the high seas.
November 15th at, I think 12:30 actually looks better for Felix, but
Okay.
let's do 12:30 because I think then. Felix will be
12:30
able
sounds
to-
good.
to join.
Good. I'll be at lunch.
Terry will resend that invite.
Yes, oh, and guys, since we changed, Terry sent all the calendar invites from our old email, and since we changed to a new email, she can no longer adjust those because she's not that same
We can
person
put 'em in.
anymore.
Yeah.
She's gonna send a new one, but she can't delete the old one, so.
Yeah, so
Oh,
we'll do
okay.
it.
You're gonna have to manually delete them, it's just,
I think we can handle that. It's a lot, but we can do it.
it's a quirk, it's gonna cause some confusion, I know it is, but just keep it in the back of your mind.
Well, you guys send us 5 reminders, so.
Yes, we do send it to
There you go.
reminders. Okay, so,
Which we appreciate.
And
Yes.
Liz, December 6th is 2 PM.
December 6th, we're gonna schedule depending on, how much business we have, but Bill's right, it's gonna be later in the
And
afternoon.
then it's the dinner.
Yeah, so we can just lead right in. Yes.
Okay.
Where you going?
At a decent
Oh,
restaurant.
I was there, you were-
A fine dining.
Come
I
on.
vote no on.
Yeah, I was there the other night. That was good.
Where am I
All
going?
right.
Can't even talk. So loud.
Well, I have an idea, I'll run it past you.
We go back to Sabine.
You thought that was less loud?
Yeah, then we had our own room.
We have our own
What would we-
room.
We have our own room.
Yeah, let's,
All right, we'll
Yeah.
we'll discuss offline, we'll figure it out. The last thing I just want to say to everybody is, no, just Fred, Anne Marie, Mitch, I don't think anybody else was there, did and I did a presentation through CDC Long Island of their Long Island Atlas. And they sent us something this morning. We were supposed to get it a couple of days ago to include it in the packets. Do you wanna talk about it a little bit?
Yeah, zoning atlas has been worked on for the better part of a year. CUNY New York is doing the majority of the legwork. Roush has been involved, CDC has been involved, there's a fourth organization which escapes me. And when they're done, they will have every piece of property on Long Island in this atlas. And you can pull it up, you can have overlays by congressional districts, Suffolk County districts, state districts. You can overload the Long Island Railroad into this. It's an incredible piece of information. Question is, who's gonna use it? Lisa thinks that the attorneys, I think some real estate people will use it. Unfortunately, we don't have the kind of property upstate does, where you get a lot of site selectors here. But what they're looking for, and it's gonna be, still got another month or so to refine it a little bit, before it's rolled out to everybody, but they're looking for, from us in total, $90,000 commitments for the next 2 years to update it and manage it from the IDAs of Long Island. Most of the IDAs have seen the presentation, Ice Flippers has not yet, unfortunately. And they're recommending 3 tiers, and I didn't see the breakdown. I assume the top tier at $15,000 are the 2 county IDAs, the next tier is 10, and then you got some stuff at the bottom. There are a couple IDAs out here that don't have a lot of money, Riverhead and probably Glen Cove, although I don't know about Glen Cove. I think it's a very worthwhile project. I think in this case, we kind of have to think regionally rather than just in the town. I fully support it. I think Mitch does. I don't want to speak for Mitch. He can speak for himself. Obviously, 3 of us have some affiliation with CDC, and yet none of us are paid or receive any really benefits from that. My recommendation is that we consider, that doesn't have to be decided today. The reason I bring it up today rather than next month, CDC has its annual luncheon on October 12th. And if there's enough commitments from the IDAs, I think when O'Shea wants to roll it out and make a big splash of this thing. I don't know, Mitch, whether she's gotten in touch with you about even discussing it at Montauk? She may do
She
that?
has not,
Okay, she
she
may.
has not.
Okay, and when it's rolled out, we've suggested that she get a hold of the door, who understands economic development better than
Yep.
anybody.
Yep.
Maybe the only one. My recommendation would be that we support it to the extent of $10,000 each of the next 2 years. I think we've got the money. I think it's a worthwhile cause, and I think, again, we have to think regionally on this one, instead of just looking at Brookhaven itself. I
I
don't
mean,
know.
I would agree. I mean, I'm on the advisory board also, but, you know, we are not, employees or get no benefits.
And I'm on the board and
Right.
I
This
get
start-
just,
this
I just get
project-
tourists.
As you know, this project started a couple of years ago. My former employer, Long Island Builders, has also made a contribution. I think it is very, very helpful and will even be more helpful going forward to a lot of people to develop and redevelop on the island. They've put a lot of effort into it, and I would agree with Fred. I think the contribution, you know, we may not be the largest and most influential from an objective standpoint, but in reality, we are the largest and most influential IDA on Long Island from a subjective standpoint. And I think it's important that we lead the way on this and make that contribution.
Subjective, but completely impartial.
Very important, without a doubt.
I'd be for it.
I would entertain a resolution to that effect, $10,000 for 24, 25,
Right, and this is to support the rolling out of this.
and
sort of-
maintenance of.
And maintenance of this website that could be used, you know, by economic development agencies and the public to further the mission of economic development on Long Island.
And then all the IDAs who contribute would get recognition that we help.
Yes.
Okay.
I'll make the motion. Thank you. Is there a Second.
Yeah.
Any further questions?
Yeah.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Is there anything I would like to mention? I was periodically run through the Shirley Industrial Park. I was out there again yesterday. And the Biodex, the big Biodex building, which has been on the market for several years, is now occupied. They continue to expand their scope, New York Blood and Cancer. They have, you know, they took the space on 347.
Yeah.
They bought the building that we deferred to the county because of a conflict with an elected official. Big building on William Floyd, or off William Floyd, and now they're in this building. I don't know whether they bought it, which I suspect they did, I'll find out, or they're just renting it, but they have a lot of administrative people there.
What was there before they went there?
Biodex,
Biodex.
Biodex made.
All by itself on William Floyd. You drive past it going to the beach, you
Oh,
look
that
over.
was
you-
American
no,
Physical
yeah.
Society.
Yeah,
Oh,
they.
yeah.
Oh, it was like a
they
building
closed-
just sitting, you
That
know?
was American
And
Physical Society.
while they may have the space, they don't have the parking, the cars are all over the road, so
Yeah.
if some of that can be deferred to the Shirley Industrial Park. I'm still frustrated by the fact that the roads look like, I won't say what I think. There's much improvement needed. We've been told year after year that it's in the budget, and year after year, it gets kicked out or deferred, so. We
There
talked-
is a lot of
Sorry to say, I
construction
left this
going on
morning
in
and I
there,
got paid
so.
on my road.
That's an easy.
November's right around the corner.
political
Guess that's why they're paving my road.
excuse. So we keep pushing, and I'll talk to Mr. Panico again. Anything else?
That's it.
Hearing none, I will entertain a motion to adjourn. It is now 8:57.
Motion.
Second,
Second.
all those in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you.